The reason why I'm late, yes, it's because of this guy right here. Woo! I tell y'all, this guy, he put me through it. All right, I know, I know. I tried to get him to sleep. I tried to put him in the other room. I tried to lay him down in here. He is not having it at all. Um, but he has switched to the crib now, so he's still getting used to that, I guess. And he is just, he's just, he was not having it tonight. So we're here tonight to do this live. So I guess we'll, see how long we can go. Um, we'll see how long we can go. Okay, so yes, I asked what you all wanted to see. Well, first let me introduce myself. So my name is Tashima McRae. I am a mom of four. I'm a doula, and this channel is all about motherhood, all about my motherhood journey, or things that I go through as a mom. And about like support for other moms, so breastfeeding support, especially how to labor, not how to labor, but how to labor without an epidural, which is what we're going to talk about tonight. What women need to know about labor and delivery. A lot of information also for women or parents to be, or parents or people who plan on having children in the future. What else do we do on here? Lots of good stuff. So it's just pretty much anything motherhood, a whole bunch of doula stuff, whole bunch of doula tips and stuff for moms, pregnant moms, moms postpartum, all that good stuff. So I put a question in my community tab asking you all what you wanted to see as my next live video. I'm trying to stay consistent with these lives. So Friday is when I for sure plan on doing lives at 9 o'clock. And so it was between how to birth without an epidural, what was the other one? The stages of labor, which I don't think anyone clicked on. And the third one was, detailing my birth story. So I do have a playlist on this channel with all of my birth stories on it. So individually, I talk about, each of my births. But I want to do a live talking about all my births all together. I feel like that would be really fun to kind of just go through, say, all the way down to baby Asa's birth. I hope he goes to sleep, but he is just so nosy. He probably will not. But at least hopefully he stays quiet for us. Hopefully. I really was trying to do this without him, but he didn't want me to. So, just make sure everything's okay. I had to set up my light a little bit. I mean, it's still to the side of me, but I don't have as much space over here now because the crib is there. So yeah. So hopefully it's not like, before I had to turn it so it wouldn't be like right and directly at the view of the camera. So anywho, so like I said, I'm a mom before, and I've given birth obviously 4 times, and I've never had an epidural. So I have had two C-sections though. So my first birth was a C-section, and my last birth with baby Asa was a C-section. But the vaginal births that I had, I did not have an epidural, and even the ones that I had a C-section with, I labored the whole time without an epidural. And of course, obviously for the cesarean, I had to have pain, pain medicine administered to me. And for the first time I got the spinal, and the second time for Asa, I requested the spinal just because I had a really good experience with it, and I didn't want to get the epidural. So like I said, I've never had one, and it's always been my goal not to have one. So I'm going to talk about tonight the things that really helped me with my births, and not with my pain with my pain management, and how I was able to achieve my births without an epidural, and tips for he is so strong, y'all. Get off of there. And my tips for other moms who are looking to have an epidural-free birth. So like I said, I am a doula, but when I gave birth to my second, I was not a doula. So it's not like I was coming from experience and everything like that. And for my second birth, it was a VBAC birth also as well. So I had a couple of things against me as far as, birthing vaginally in the first place. But I would say the first thing, or the first thing that I recommend to you all if you're trying to, give birth without an epidural. Oh, this is going to be crazy. Why don't I just unplug this? That'll be fine. Is education. So educate yourself as best as you can. So about, like, again, and that's why I did put the stages of labor on here, because I think that's something that moms need to know before they give birth. It's the stages of labor. But educate yourself on the stages of labor so that you know what's going to happen to your body, or when it does happen to your body, like why it's happening, certain things like that. So understanding how labor works, and the progression of labor, and that in order to birth vaginally, certain things have to happen for every single woman. So just certain things that are universal for birthing vaginally. Just know those things. And yeah, and talk to other moms, who have given birth without an epidural. Bless you. And maybe ask them what their coping mechanisms was. I know I did that. So my mom, I come from a big family. I'm one of 10. And my mom had epidurals with a few of us, but for the most part, she did give birth without them too. And so, I just really picked her brain about a lot of things as far as labor goes, and all of that. And she is a doula as well, and she's a nurse. So I was covered as far as like knowing most of the medical stuff because of my mom. So definitely grateful to her for that. But yes, educate yourself on the what, when, how, why, where, everything that you can about labor while you're pregnant, and even better before you get pregnant. Just so you have a heads up. I just feel like knowing, and I feel like I say that a lot on this channel, that knowledge is power. So just even knowing what to expect beforehand kind of makes certain things a little bit easier. And let me just start off, well, let me just say that labor is painful no matter what route you take, no matter whether you get a C-section, no matter whether you labor for a little bit and then get the epidural, or you don't have the epidural at all, or you get the epidural and it fails. It's just, you're not going to get around the pain factor of labor. But for me, I just, I mean, this may sound a little funny, but I'm going to say it anyway, because maybe it will help another mom out there. But for me, I just told myself it's going to be the most painful experience you've ever experienced, and just prepare that way. So that's what I told myself, like going, or, like when I found out I was pregnant, or maybe even before, because I always plan on having children. But I just told myself, yeah, it's going to be painful, but you can do it. Other women have done it for centuries, with or without the epidural, and you can do it too. So that was like one of the things that helped me. And so, excuse me. So then the next thing, I guess I can go to the next thing. Like, I wrote things down just off of the top of my head, what I can remember that really helped me. But since we're talking about, preparing yourself, I would say the next part after you, educate yourself on labor, and not saying you got to know like a doctor's amount of what happens during labor, but just a good working knowledge of labor. But then after that, mentally prepare yourself for labor. Mentally prepare yourself for how to handle the contractions when they come. Like I said, for me, I just told myself it's going to be painful, but you can do it. So just stuff like that. If you want to do like mantras, if you want to do like affirmations, and just I feel like and I don't know if other moms out there agree with me, if you have had if you've gone through birth without an epidural. Let me know in the comments if you agree, but I feel like a lot of it really comes down to your mindset. It really comes down to your mind. Like, I feel like, yes, it's painful. It is painful, but if you can just like push yourself, or for me, like if I could just push myself through that contraction, I knew I had a minute or two of reprieve, and then I could gear myself up, for the next one. And because of the break in between contractions, now of course at the end they're back to back to back to back. Like, there's not that much of a reprieve, but because of that, I was able to push through, that release in between contractions, to just say, I got this. It's just one more. And I would tell myself that it's just one more contraction. It's just one more contraction. So yeah, mentally prepare yourself for the pain of labor. Mentally prepare yourself for how long it may take, because it can be really long. Like, it can be short, and that's excellent if it is, but it can be really long. So like for my second birth, I was in labor. Ooh, how long? It was a really long time, because my labor had actually started on, like, was it Sunday or Monday? Like a Monday night, and I went to an appointment on like Tuesday. Then I was admitted because my water had broken. So then I was admitted, and we started the labor process. Well, I was getting contractions the whole night. Water broke, all that stuff. It was a really long time. It was at least I want to say like 46 hours. It was a really long time, and the whole time I was having contractions, so it was really long. um, and yeah, so I mean, of course, at the end I did get not a little bit. I got a lot tired. I was just exhausted. I was so tired, but I knew what it was as far as my goals and having the birth, without an epidural, and I stuck to that. And then at the end, when it was time to push, then it was like the contraction part. I mean, you still have contractions when you're pushing, but at least for me personally, the contractions are way worse than the pushing. Like, the pushing is a kind of a what's the word? Kind of like a welcome thing to do with the contractions, because before that, you're having your contractions, you're in pain because your body, is bringing your baby down, but you can't really do anything about it. But when you're in the pushing stage, with the contractions, you get to push. So for me, that helped so much, and the pushing really didn't hurt, like, really at all. It was the contractions, especially the ones leading up to the pushing, that hurt a lot. So yeah, I knew mentally, if I could just get over those contractions, that mental battle in my head, then I would be okay, and I was. So mental preparation is good. If you want to look up, like I said, affirmations, I have a video of birthing affirmations on here, that I recommend that you can, either watch or listen to during labor. And there's plenty of other YouTubers who have the same thing as well. So, so yes, mental preparation is definitely key. Where should I go next? I would say the next thing is coming up with a birth plan. Now, I know not everybody believes in birth plans, just because labor it really can go so differently than how you planned it. But I felt like for me, just having a birth plan really helped me to, be focused and centered on what it is I was trying to do and achieve. And then also, I gave my birth plans to my providers and then to my support people. So it's not like anything was like new, or they didn't know what I wanted at a certain time, or they didn't know, hey, don't ask me for pain medication, or, certain things like that. So for me, the birth plan is a must. So like, I had a birth plan with all four of my children, and for one birth, we followed my birth plan to a T. Like, it was amazing. Listen, if you're gonna be in a video, you gotta behave, because they're trying to listen. They want to know how to do it too. So yes, I highly recommend a birth plan. And I have a video here about birth plans if you want to know, like, exactly what to put on your birth plan. But to start, you want to just put, obviously who you want in the room, and their names, like their full real names. Put what laboring positions you would like to be in, what position you would like to deliver in, what you want done for your baby after birth, what you don't want done. So if you're having a boy, if you want him to be circumcised or not. If you want to breastfeed, put that on your birth plan. Or if you're not breastfeeding, put that on your birth plan. Say, don't even, or if you are breastfeeding, like, don't offer formula. And if you aren't breastfeeding, then that, put that on there. And just like other things that are important to you for your birth, put that on your birth plan. And like I said, birth is just one of those things where you really can't control everything, but the things that you can control are the things that you would like done. Put that on there. And then the things that may happen in the event of something else happening. So like, say if you do need a C-section, who do you want in the room with you for that? Or do you want to breastfeed as soon as you are as soon as you're able, or do you want to just have a little bit of time to yourself? So just make sure that you put those kind of things on there, the things that are really important for you and for your birth. And I just feel like also with like writing your birth plan, you're manifesting what you want to happen. Like I said, one of my births literally was so perfect. And that was my third birth, so my second vaginal birth. And everything that I put on my birth plan happened like to a T. So don't count that out if you're one of those people that believe in manifesting and just writing down your goals and your hopes and dreams and all of that stuff. I highly recommend having your birth plan in place. And like I said, share that with your support people, the people that you plan on having in your room, and your provider, so that your provider knows also what things you're looking for your birth and how to navigate the whole birthing process. So the next thing that was really, really big for me, big, and this is whether you have a C-section or not, in my opinion, is staying fit, or doing some labor-friendly exercises during pregnancy. Excuse me. So for those of you who don't know, I am I don't want to say fitness junkie, but I'm really health conscious. So I lost a lot of weight before I had my children. And so fitness, working out, eating clean, all that stuff was just a part of my life. It is a part of my life. And so when I got pregnant, there was no difference. I kept up with my exercise routine, lowered the intensity and the frequency a lot, just based on how I was feeling certain days. But I definitely kept up my physical health, my physical strength. And then towards the end of my pregnancies, I always did like the preparing for labor and delivery videos. I highly recommend. There's one I really love. Oh, it's called Activating Labor. I can't remember the channel name, but if I remember when I go back after this goes off, I will put the link below, because it's just a godsend, honestly. Like, it's a 30-minute strength and flexibility or stretching routine that you can do when you're preparing for labor. And I think for the title, it's kind of marketed as one of those things to, like, if you do it, you're going to labor right away. That was not my experience, but I can say that I really think that the exercises helped. And when I had my second, I did it with my second, and amazing. It was amazing. And for my third, it was even better, I feel like. So I would do it like, maybe 3 times a week or 2 times a week towards the end. So starting at like 36 weeks, 38 weeks. And I highly recommend that video alone. But yes, just try to stay as active as you can. It makes for an easier labor and a quicker labor. So with my second, that one was really, really long, but even though that was my second child, it was my first vaginal birth. So in that case, your body kind of responds as if it's your first child. So, I had to go through all the ins and outs of that. But for my third, the birth was 7 hours from start to finish, if that. It was really, really fast, really, really quick. I only pushed for 11 minutes. And I think it was like 3 pushes or 2.5 pushes total, and he was out. It was amazing. But yeah, definitely highly recommend just staying fit as much as you can, even if that's just, what is this boy doing? Y'all see this? And he's tired, y'all. He's tired. Even if that's just walking, like, that's good, because it gets your heart pumping. And of course, labor is such a physical event. I don't think that gets talked about enough, but for a woman, it's the most physical event you'll ever experience in your life. And to me, it's something that you need to prepare for physically. It's like, think of it as a marathon. You got 9 months, to complete this race, to run this marathon, and then when it's labor or you're induced or whatever, it's showtime. You know what I mean? So just prepare for it in all ways possible as you can. So, we talked about preparing mentally. We talked about preparing, your brain, so educating yourself, and now we're talking about preparing physically with the with keeping your body, nice and limber for birth, because so much happens when you're having a vaginal birth, that I think if your muscles are nice and loose, it helps you to have an easier birth. And I would say less pain too, because I didn't experience that much pain. Like, I feel like my third birth, even though it was quicker, it really wasn't as painful. I won't say it was pain free because it wasn't, but it wasn't as painful. And like I said, I exercised through all of my pregnancies, so I just highly recommend that. And even after you give birth, Asa, they can't hear me. After you give birth, having exercise during your pregnancy will help you to recover faster also as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Next one we're gonna talk about. Well, yeah, let's talk about, so going with the birth plan is making sure, while you're educating yourself about labor and all that stuff, make sure that you have the right support people, and make sure you have the right provider, because I feel like that really, I don't want to say make or break your birth if you're trying to have an epidural, but it really, really helps. So like I said, again, telling your support people what it is you're trying to achieve with your birth. So if you don't want an epidural, make sure that they know how to help you, cope through those labor pains, while they're there being your support people. So not just people that's just going to sit around, people that are actually going to be hands-on, that are going to help you, that can maybe mentally, that can talk to you, maybe say encouraging words in your ear while you're going through those contractions. So just really, really supportive people that are in your life that you feel safe with and that you feel support you, I think is so, so key. And then again, with your provider, make your birth preferences known to your provider, and don't wait until 36 weeks, 38 weeks, because a lot of times, in my experience, by then providers already have in their mind what they want to do with you. So I said my stuff, like first appointment. The first appointment I had, this is what I want to do, this is how I want it done, that kind of thing. And then once I did have my birth plans written, and I usually did my birth plans, I want to say like around like 20 weeks pregnant. But once I had that, they had a physical copy as well. So I would give them a copy, give my birth support people a copy. We would talk about it. If something wasn't clear, I would explain that to them. And then I would talk, of course, with my provider about it. And then also on the day of delivery, so the day I'm walking into the hospital, everyone got another copy. So my support people, I had my own copy so I could look at it and encourage myself also as well. And then I gave another copy to my provider. So there was no miscommunication. That is so key, so that everybody is on one page, on how to best support you during your labor. Do you want something to play with? Yeah, I do. He is just a mess. He is just a mess over here. I don't know what you can play with. I usually let him play with my deodorant. You want to play with this? Okay. So yes, make sure that you and your support people are on the same playing field, that they know everything that you want done. And making sure that you just have a supportive provider in general. So for me, because I was VBACing, I needed a provider that was on board with that. And sometimes they act like they are, and that, like I said, that could be a whole nother video. I am going to do another video on that, on VBAC supportive providers. So like I said, my circumstance was a little bit of a special circumstance, a little bit different. But yes, just talk about these things as much as you can with your provider, as often as you can, because you do want to feel comfortable with that person when they deliver you. So I went to an OB group, so it wasn't like I knew exactly who would be there the day of. But I just made sure whenever I met a new provider, they knew how I felt about things. So that way, you feel safe with them. You feel like you're in good hands. If you don't feel that way with your OB, then it will be harder for you to birth exactly the way you want. So just try to make sure that when you are picking your providers, when you find out you're pregnant and all that, that is someone that you actually trust. Yes, because that can make or break your birth. And if you have people in there that you don't trust or don't support you, that can definitely hinder your or if you don't feel safe, that can hinder your birthing process. Next thing we want to talk about, okay, let's talk about positioning, or like labor positions. That was so key for me. It's just moving around, and honestly, that's one of the biggest perks about, you know, laboring or giving birth without an epidural. So like I said, I've never had an epidural. I know that they can vary in their effectiveness, or just how what's the word, how you know, like numb they make you. But obviously, if you have an epidural, for the most part, you're stuck to the bed. You're stuck in one position. You know, your nurses can move you from side to side and get you in other positions, but you usually need other people to help you because your legs are numb. So I didn't want to experience that. I never wanted to be numb. And I think I mentioned this in this one video. I did do another video about epidurals, or why I chose not to get one. And I wanted to feel everything. Like, I wanted to feel what my body was doing, when it was doing it, and all of that. So I didn't want anything to hinder that, or, like, you know, slow down the process or anything. Okay, you can have this. You can have this, not the whole thing. So that was one of the things that helped, was me being able to move around any way I wanted, any position I wanted to do. And I definitely recommend that if you're trying to birth without an epidural, because it also helps with the pain, just being able to get in and out of positions. And one of the things I recommend to like all of my clients is just moving frequently. So like every hour you want to be in a new position, even if it's just turning from left to right. That's a new position, and it helps the baby. It helps the baby to get in, you know, get into where they need to be in order for you to give birth, to help them to really drop down into your pelvis, so that you can birth vaginally. So that was one of the things that helped. Again, it helped with pain management. It helped baby to descend, and it helped me to just feel like I had a little bit control over my body. If a certain position didn't feel right, I didn't go back to that. And some were really, really comfortable, and I would stay there for a while. But after an hour, I'm like, nope, I gotta get up. I gotta do something else. And of course, help your support people can definitely help you to get in and out of certain positions, because, you know, once you're pregnant and once your belly is really big, that's hard anyway. But once you're in pain, it's even harder. So have them help you with certain positions. Your nurses can help you with different positions and all of that. So definitely try to change your positions at least every hour. It'll be so beneficial for you when you're birthing without an epidural. The next one that really, really helped is no, let me go to pain management, since we're already on that topic. So pain management, you want to think about how you cope with pain. So for me, I don't know. I guess people would say that I have a high pain tolerance. I don't know what to really compare it to other than my birth. What? Asa, I need you to be quiet so mommy can talk. But just think about certain things that maybe you would like to do to kind of take your mind off of the pain or ease the pain. And like I said, for me, switching positions helped a lot. Especially if you're having like back labor, you don't want to be sitting down on your back, or you don't even want to be laying down on your back. Now, I personally haven't experienced back labor, so sitting really wasn't that bad for me. But if you're having back labor, oh my gosh, that could be the worst thing. It's just laying down stuck in that position. So you want to move around as much as you can. That helps. The next thing is massage. And with all of my clients, we always did this certain massage where it's like, I don't know if you want to even, no, massage like straight down your back. I want to do another video on some of these things that I'm talking about, because I don't have videos on them. But yes, massage. So if you want people touching you, because sometimes in labor, when you get to a certain point, you may not want people touching you, and that's totally normal as well. But if you can get some massages, counter pressure really, really helps. That really, really helped me. Like for one of my births. So y'all see why I didn't want to do this video with him? Because he's so loud and obnoxious. What are you doing? AC, be quiet, because you're tired. You fighting your sleep. Go sleep. So, what was I saying? Counter pressure. Oh, yeah, for one of my births, I just had, like, one of my support people squeeze my hand. That helped me so much. I know it may sound, like, silly or whatever, but when I was having a contraction, they squeezed my hand, and that just helped. Like, that little counter pressure in my hand. Of course, you can do counter pressure for your back, so you know, your low back, your hip area, just pressing those two parts in. And you can do that if you have two support people. You can do that with like one on each side. If you have one support person where they're just pressing, kind of pressing your hips in and up. I had to show you all what this looks like because that was my favorite thing for my births, especially for my third. It helped so much, and it really brought me like instant relief just having somebody press that part on my back. And even now postpartum, because I deal with a lot of lower back pain, that helps a lot. But yeah, that's good. Counter pressure massage is good. Meditation, if you're into that. So again, like I was saying with the affirmations, if you had like birth affirmations that you told yourself during your pregnancy, bring those to your birth. I wrote out like a whole bunch. And I brought that to my birth, and then like, you know, in between contractions or like in early labor, I read it to myself. When labor got like really, really hard, I would take them out again, and you know, I'm breathing and I'm going through my contractions and reading my affirmations. So just helping myself, you know, work through the pain that I'm feeling. Yeah, so that really helps meditation. For me also, it helped the room being dark and the room being, for the most part, quiet. Now, I did have music, so I had a playlist for my last birth, which, you know, I recommend that also as well. If you like certain music, if you want your, you know, your room to have a certain atmosphere or whatever, bring you a nice little playlist, bring your speaker, and have that hooked up and playing in the background as you are laboring. That can help you if a certain song really calms you down, or you know, another song really makes you pumped and excited and you're like, I can work through this. Bring those songs with you. Music is so incredible. It can definitely help you with your birth. So that's another thing. And like I said, I needed the lights to be dim, so they could not be bright. Yeah, they had to be dim, so either off or like turned down as low as possible. And for a lot of my labors, when it got like really, really intense, or when it was after a long time, I kept my eyes closed anyway. But still, I needed it to be dark. So lighting, if that's your thing, if you like the string lights, I recommend those. If I had a home birth, I would have been that person like with the birthing tub, the string lights, the affirmations on the wall. You know, I see some other people and I'm like, oh, that looks so nice and so beautiful. But that was not my experience. But yeah, get you some lights, some mood lights. Aromatherapy also can work as well. So I know for us as doulas, we had like some essential oils that our clients could sniff. And I never used it personally, I don't think, but I know some of them really like this. So just something, again, just try to think of things that calm you down in normal, regular life. And they also, for the most part, will help you during your birth. So something that you like to smell, something that comforts you when you smell it. For me, that is vanilla. I love vanilla anything. I love, love, love vanilla. I love lemon, peppermint. But you don't want something like so loud, you know? So like, I don't want to say like your favorite perfume. I don't really go that way, but I mean, if that's what you want, or a favorite cologne, maybe your partner's favorite cologne or something. If you want something to smell like that, you can bring that as well. But I would say try to think of something that's soothing. So if you were to take a nice bath and you know you have all your things, what are the things that you will want surrounding you that usually will bring you comfort also during your birth? The next one is water. So if you are blessed to be in a facility that has water, or that has big showers, or you know, a pool or a tub or whatever, utilize it, please. I had some clients that the hospital they delivered at, they had a pool, and the ladies got in there and they just seemed to love it so much. Like they said, it really helped with their pain, and also with taking that pressure again, like off of your back. So in pregnancy, we experience a lot of back pain anyway, just because our center of gravity has changed. The baby's in the front, so we're front heavy. But being in the water helps lighten that, and then it also helps you with the contractions as well. And your partner will have open access to your back also, so they can still do the counter pressures, they can do the massage, you can do anything in the pool that you can do you know, in the bed. And at the hospital they delivered at, they weren't allowed to deliver in the actual tub. But if you're at a birthing center, or if you're at home and you want to deliver in a tub, of course that's an option for you as well. I know a lot of women highly recommend those women who have given birth without an epidural or who are labored in a tub, they highly recommend it. And I think it also helps with tearing. So it also helps, keep you more lubricated down there, and not suffer a vaginal tear. So that's another thing that can help you with your birth. And then what else do I have on here? Oh, and the last one I have on here, well, changing up your positions, yes, but staying upright, like as much as you can, as often as you can, slash walking. So just, like I said, move around as frequently as you can. I did not like to stay in the bed when I was laboring. For the most part, I was out of the bed just because I did not feel that comfortable in the bed. Now, towards the end, with my second, I was in the bed because it was so long. It was so long, and I almost did get the epidural. I'm not even gonna lie, just because I was exhausted, and I was like, if I'm this tired now, there's no way I can push a baby out. But if you want to see how that turned out, I mean, obviously I did without the epidural. But if you want to see the rest, you can check out my birth story. But yeah, staying upright as much as you can. So walking around the room or standing, swaying side to side. Again, if you're bent over like your bed, or if you're bent over a birthing ball on the bed, your partner has full access to your back, and your shoulders. So that can really help you just get that massage and counter pressure from them. And yeah, and the ball, the birthing ball. I cannot mention an epidural free birth without mentioning the birth ball. So the birth ball for me was great for labor prep. So while I was at home, before I gave birth, I would bounce on it every single night for at least 30 minutes, sometimes an hour, just to really get baby engaged in my pelvis. I definitely highly recommend it for pregnancy alone, but then during birth also, bounce on that ball. Like, it really helps. It really, really helps. Now, I will say, for my third birth, I was on the ball, and it made my contractions way more intense while I was on there. Like, when I was having an actual contraction on the ball, I would usually have to bounce a little bit slower or stop bouncing completely. I could feel the baby moving down on it. So I recommend it in birth. Yeah, if you're like me and you don't want to be in a bed, it's one of the best things you can do, because again, you're upright, your hips are in a good position on there, your pelvis is able to open up if you have your legs spread out wide, and it's a good way to kind of just do something with the contraction. So I highly recommend it. I used it for all of my births. The birth ball was there front and center. I love it. I recommend it. And for my clients, when labor seems to like stall, or when they're like dilating kind of slowly, that's okay. We get out that birth ball. Oh, and also the peanut ball. See, I hadn't wrote that down because I forgot, but the peanut ball is incredible. It will definitely open up your pelvis, your inlets, so that your baby can be engaged in the right position. And that helps a lot too. And again, I remember for my one client, she used it because I recommended it, because she was like, what did you do? How did you, what really helped you? And I told her about it. But once you put that, for me, I laid down on my side. I was in the hospital bed on my side. With the peanut ball, it really makes your contractions really intense. And I did tell her that. I did warn her. But she went from from like 5 to 8 in no time with that. And yeah, like I said, change up your positions as much as you can, and utilize any extra things that you have, any props that you have in a room available to you. Don't be afraid to use them. And the last thing is, oh, see this guy. See this guy? See, I was trying to keep it out of the frame because it doesn't have as much space over here. Plus, one of the legs are broken. So, was that everything on my list? Let me see. Yeah, I think that's everything. I know there's this one thing, and I haven't tried it. Just because, I don't know, I'm kind of skeptical about it working. But some people say taking a comb, so like a fine tooth comb, or like a comb that you would comb your hair with, taking a comb and squeezing it in your hand during a contraction helps with the pain. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know. But if you're pregnant and you try that, or if you have tried that before, let me know in the comments. I'm guessing maybe it's one of those things like I was saying, the counter pressure, or even acupuncture. So that's the last thing that I did want to mention for pain management. Is there certain spots in your body that kind of help you with pain management. And for my third birth, this nurse came in and did this thing to my foot, and let me tell you, that virtually made the pain what's the word? I did not feel no pain when she pressed that part of my foot. Like, I'm not lying to y'all. And I don't know exactly what the part is because I don't have that much research with acupressure. But it was incredible. She was like, oh, do you guys know about this? And my mom was like, my mom was one of my support people. She was like, no, I've never heard of that. She was like, yeah, you just press this part right here. And I'm telling you, but she did it like I think she told me to tell her when I was having a contraction. So like, I'm feeling one. And she pressed it, no pain, zero pain. It was amazing. I'm like, what is she doing? And then she taught my support people how to do it. And so from then on, they used that, that technique. And I'm telling you, it was incredible. I talked about it in one of my other epidural free videos. I'm not sure if I actually show what part it is, but it's a part on your, I want to say your heel or the middle of your foot. And it can be either foot. It doesn't have to be, left or right. But yes, acupressure can definitely work. There are other parts of the body. I'm almost done. There are other parts of the body that can help with your pain management as far as acupressure. And again, like I said, I don't know that much about it. So I can't tell you, but if you're one of those people who are into acupressure and you maybe go to someone that specializes in that, or even a chiropractor during your pregnancy, I'm about to go. Then ask them for that because it works. That one definitely did work, and I had my sister and my mom doing that for me the whole rest of that labor. So that's probably why it was so perfect for me. But yes, I just want to encourage you that you can do it. If that is your goal, to birth without an epidural, you can do it. It can be done. And don't let people discourage you that you can't. Like, especially if you're a first-time mom and obviously you never experienced birth before. Other women who have experienced birth will maybe tell you, oh, girl, you won't be able to handle it. It's too much. It's too... Just block out the negative Nancy's, don't pay it no mind. You can do it. If you really, prepare yourself, mentally prepare yourself, like I was saying, physically prepare yourself. Maybe watch even other birth stories or birth blogs on here of other moms who have given birth without it. And encourage yourself. Like, you can do it. If you really plan to. There's a couple of reasons why I chose not to have the epidural. And if you want to know, you can watch that video. Maybe I'll link it below. Or maybe I'll do another live talking about why I chose not to have an epidural. But yeah, you can do it. I just want to encourage you and say that you can do it. And is there anything else I want to say about tonight? About giving birth without an epidural. But I will say one of the biggest reasons, and I found out even better postpartum, was that you're able to get up and move around after birth, like virtually right away. Even though I tore second degree for both of my vaginal births. And after, I almost called him Kenzo. After I had Kenzo, which was my third birth, I was up within like an hour or two, and I felt good. When I tell you I felt good, like even if you were to see my after birth photos, my family always teased me about it, but I didn't even look like I had a baby. Like, the nurses came in and it was like, huh? Like, my hair wasn't even messed up. It was incredible. But I loved that. I loved that I got to get up and just go. I watched my baby myself. It was amazing. So that's what I really love about it, is that I have full control and freedom over my body. And that was really one of the biggest reasons why I chose not to have an epidural. So I hope that this video encouraged you. I hope that maybe you learned something new. If you've given birth before without an epidural, definitely let me know what coping mechanisms really helped you with your pain management, or how did you prepare, or maybe what positions you used. That was another reason I chose not to have one, is I wanted to birth in whatever position I wanted. And I wanted to move around however I wanted to. And so I was able to do that with both. So yeah. I think that's all for tonight. I will be doing those other two topics that I had in my community post. So I'll probably do, I don't know which one next week. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do the birth stories, since that was the next one that most people picked. But thank you for watching tonight. If you watched, thank you for watching on a replay. If you're watching on a replay, and if you, all right. See, now we just getting belligerent. Yes, you. You. Don't smile at me. Don't smile at me. If you have other topics that you want me to discuss here on live, or that you other videos that you want me to make, just shoot them down in the comment box and I will get to them and make those videos for you. So I hope you all have a good weekend. I hope you all have a good night, and I'll see you in my next video. Let me get this boy to bed because he's going crazy. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.